Well, hey, what do you know? Classic stateless patriot video format. Excuse to wear my hat. What a crazy weekend it has been, has it not? Perfect excuse to make a third episode of Facts Are Irrelevant. I made one about Kenosha back in 2020, and then one about Dr. Seuss and cancel culture in 2022. If I remember correctly, the last several years have been a total blur. Most of you already see me on The Left Coast, the show I do with my co-host Dieter McBusiness. If you're not subscribed to him, I suggest you do so. Today we're going to be talking about the Olympics, boxing in particular, and an incident that the U.S. won a gold medal in for the event of jumping to conclusions. That's right, folks. Apparently, a boxer by the name of Emain Khalif is a man. They're actually not. We're gonna get to that. Lots of memes to go over, but multiple points to be made because there's a lot to learn from this. If you've been living under a rock, or more accurately, you are a normal person and don't scroll through the internet or your Twitter feed 18 hours a day, you probably wouldn't notice that there is an insane number of right-wingers that are obsessed with trans people in sports, as if that has anything to do with their income, their health, whether or not they can afford groceries, how much gas is. It's trans people in sports. Who would have thought that the one thing that would make conservatives care about women was sports? So just to cut to the chase, Emain Khalif is a woman. They are biologically female. But this started because Emain really hurt her opponent, Angela Carrari, I believe her name is. And there were viral pictures of Angela crying after the match because she was hit so hard and whatnot. And we'll get to a bit more of that too. But the right wing media sphere, without fail, jumped all over it and saying, "This is someone with XY chromosomes. That's a man."
When will we have enough of this? This is insanity.
Because all they see is the propaganda. They don't look past the headlines. They don't look deeper into it because they would find out that they're wrong. But it didn't take long for this to blow up. Trump just posted this on Truth Social. "I will keep men out of women's sports," and it's a clip of the boxing match. Hassan reposts this and says, "We have officially reached terminal velocity brainwash, where everyone can simply keep repeating something objectively untrue and it doesn't matter. There will be no corrections, no apologies. Their feelings that this person is trans is more important than the facts." So the only thing they were going off of was a report from the IBA, which is not recognized by the International Olympic Committee. And they said the specifics of the tests are confidential, though IBA President Umar Kremlin alleged to Russian news agency TASS last year that Khalif had XY chromosomes, a pair of chromosomes typically possessed by men. Typically possessed is carrying a lot of weight here. It's really important. So if you do a quick Google search, which I guess conservatives are allergic to doing because fact-checking is satanic or Marxist or some stupid bullshit, is Emain Khalif a biological male? Khalif is not a transgender athlete. She was born female but has a disorder of sex development, DSD, that results in XY chromosomes and testosterone levels similar to those of male athletes. And Merrick is just pointing out here that there is only one source claiming that Emain Khalif has XY chromosomes, and it's a decertified organization known for corruption, headed by a Russian, and the results came 3 days after she beat a Russian athlete. So maybe they were saving face, meaning we should probably be taking this information at face value to begin with. But this was taken and ran with by the entire conservative media apparatus, and then some. By the way, hi Merrick, hello. How you doing? Going over more information here because people did some digging and actually wanted to get to the bottom of this and actually get the facts of the matter, which apparently are irrelevant to a whole swath of conservative intelligentsia, which probably intelligentsia, not even an accurate description. In 2020, Emain Khalif lost the quarterfinals against Irish participant Kelly Harrington. She's not this unbeatable testosterone-ridden monster. She just trained hard and hit her opponent harder. She represents the country of Algeria. It is illegal to be trans there, which is an issue of its own. They would not have sent a trans athlete to compete. Use the brain you have. If you can't use that, use the literal supercomputer in your pocket. More on this. Going off of a headline here, of course, there's no frickin' source here. It doesn't even show what it's from, doesn't even show the name of the website, because conservatives don't care about fact-finding operations, because they'd rather be sensationalist. Anyway, FYI, the trans Olympic fighter you've seen people complain about was born a woman and still identifies as a woman. She has unusually elevated levels of testosterone due to PCOS, which we'll go over in a little bit. It is illegal to change your gender in Algeria, and trans athletes are barred from competing in the Olympics unless they completed their transition before the age of 12, disqualifying virtually all competitors and negating any advantage from testosterone during pubescent development. This is the easiest shit in the world to look up, yet tech genius Elon Musk and wordsmith of our generation J.K. Rowling didn't bother. Yeah, we'll get to J.K. Rowling just openly accepting it without question at all, you know. And Elon Musk shared some media having to do with it and said something like, oh, this is crazy or something like that. But that media has since been taken down to copyright. But if you're noticing a theme here, facts are irrelevant. So looking up PCOS, you get the Mayo Clinic, which is very, very well renowned, polycystic ovary syndrome. This is a problem with hormones that happen during the reproductive years. If you have it, you may not have periods very often, or you may have periods that last many days. You may also have too much of a hormone called androgen in your body. Androgynous, does that check out? It means you're a bit more masculine-ish. If you want to know more, you can go over on Mayo Clinic. It is thought that Imran Khalif actually has this condition. So, yeah, and it says right here, International Business Times, Imran Khalif is not a biological male. Know about her rare condition. Imran's home country, Algeria, has condemned those attacking her and called it baseless propaganda. So you gotta ask, why are conservatives mad? Honestly, like, what's the outrage of the day? You gotta ask yourself that, like, every single day. Like, what are they getting mad about? What do they not understand? And they're just getting angry about? They're just angry over their own ignorance. And so, with that, you had a whole number of them moving the goalposts, because for the longest time, we have heard that your genitals determine your sex or your gender, to be more dishonest, which, you know, when are the conservatives really honest when talking about gender to begin with? You see, this meme right here has been shared around quite a bit, and I picked this up on Facebook. In a sexual species, there are two sexes, male and female. 99.93% of humans have XX or XY sex chromosomes, which is a 0.7% mutation. If you have a Y, you're a guy. Interesting. Really, really interesting. But in the case of this boxer, that is not exactly true. Getting some really great reactions in the form of memes or takes on Twitter or posts or whatever. When sports have been gatekeeping against trans women, but then a cis woman starts performing too well, so they start gatekeeping them too. We're leveling out, sir. Or this brilliant one right here. Me watching transphobes suddenly changing their mind and defining an Algerian woman as a male just because she has a high level of testosterone. They're admitting genitals do not determine your gender. A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. Genuine question to conservatives from Denims. If someone has female sex organs and can get pregnant but has XY chromosomes, what pronouns would you use when talking about them? I don't actually think I've seen this answered, actually. I posted about this, just me going over all the info that was available and seeing people's reactions about it. Literally, like, when the truth was revealed and all the propaganda was flipped on its head. The backsliding about Imran Khalif going from, it's a man, we can always tell, to, well, it's not fair she was born with more testosterone than other girls, is incredible. I can't tell you how many times I saw this exact take on Facebook. You go into the Olympics because you perform your craft or sport better than other athletes. That's the point. So, should Michael Phelps have been disqualified from participating because he has a larger wingspan, double joints, and thicker webbing on his hands and feet? Neutering the eligibility of the Olympics to be more fair and equitable for athletes, and let's be honest, save face for misidentifying a cis woman, is the most amazing turnaround I've ever seen come out of the anti-trans online conservative community. Seriously, it's astounding. More memes. Watching right-wingers suddenly argue that there's more to gender than just genitalia. So, you fell for another sensationalized headline without doing any research again. Tip: it's okay to change your opinion on something after learning new information. They're too prideful for that. Too much. They let their ego in the way. They'll never admit it. Me listening to transphobes explain how someone born with female genitalia who has extra testosterone is actually a man. Yeah, this kind of plays into the fact that so many transphobes and anti-trans conservatives online and whatnot regularly forget that trans men exist. The outrage about trans people existing is almost entirely, exclusively about trans women. Curious. Very curious. More here. So remember this when they tell you to follow the science, you know. Actually, XY for a man, XX for a woman. People who did a biology lesson when they were 14. And then biologists and geneticists proceed to beat this dumb motherfucker up. And speaking of J.K. Rowling, referring to her from earlier, Anonymous says, Iman Khalif should sue every single account and outlet saying she is trans. Assholes are putting her life at risk. It is illegal in her country to be trans. The continuance of the blatant trans lie continues unfettered on Twitter. And what does fucking J.K. Rowling do? What does Joanne do? Retweets Anonymous saying, the idea that those objecting to a male punching a female in the name of a sport are objecting because they believe Khalif to be trans is a joke. We object because we saw a male punching a female. I guess because they can always tell, right? So Anna Piper Scott tweets, I'm not saying J.K. Rowling is a male. I'm just saying we have zero proof that she's not a male. Until we see her chromosomes, can she be trusted in women's spaces? That's a good point. And here's J.K. Rowling looking under the skirt of anyone who doesn't look feminine enough. These people are fucking unhinged, I swear. Weird genital-obsessed right-wingers learning about advanced biology because of women's boxing. It's against their will, too. And, you know, will they learn? Who fucking knows? Because, like, look, more Olympics shit. They're mocking the last summer. That's the Feast of Dionysus, which precedes before Jesus' time by hundreds of years. Next panel. There's a man in women's boxing that's actually a woman. Well, hang on. I'm sure I can find something to be outraged about, and we'll end on this. Angela Carini, who was punched by Iman Khalif. I want to apologize to her and everyone else. If the IOC said she can fight, I respect that decision. Rejecting her handshake wasn't something I intended to do. I was angry because my Olympics had gone up in smoke. I don't have anything against Khalif. Actually, if I were to meet her again, I would embrace her. Now that's some humility right there. To actually end on something a bit more serious, there are a couple of these posts that I saw that like really demonstrate how, I guess just how screwed a lot of us are. Sorry, not sorry. It's an intelligence issue the right has. This is why our education system is so important. The right has no understanding of critical thinking and basic subjects like biology. The right also lacks empathy and emotional intelligence. More often than not, I am unsure the right can read. They seem to think it's a game to see how horrible they can be, if that's not the truth. I saw on tweeting, transphobia is a legitimate brain disease that eventually causes people to suspect everyone of being trans. We are watching that happen in real time on a website run by a transphobic deadbeat dad freak. This harms trans women and cis women. Y'all are weird as fuck. And not to alarm anyone, but is anybody else worried about how everybody is fucking stupid? But yeah, if I can't make it any more clearer, facts are irrelevant. Conservatives don't even know what facts are. How do you even approach these kind of people? I'm genuinely at a loss. It's just getting so old, and I don't think it's ever going to be fixed. These people have too much pride and too inflated of egos to ever admit they were wrong. J.K. Rowling hasn't corrected herself. Elon Musk hasn't. And sure, there are a few people that like immediately corrected themselves, like, oh, like we probably got this a little bit wrong because intersex is a thing, and et cetera, et cetera. But people are just so grounded into the goop, you know? They can never admit they're wrong. The idea of being humble is just completely foreign to so many of them. What a fucking weekend. So closing thoughts, if you're not aware somehow, if you don't have the bell icon clicked, I do live streams at least 2 a week. It varies depending on my schedule. In the evening hours, usually past 6 Pacific Standard Time, with my co-host Deidre McBusiness. It's a show called The Left Coast, and you guys should tune into that. I try to cut clips, but it takes some time. I'm starting to get a lot more into the shorts. That seems to be a bit more fruitful, and I can do it on the fly while I'm at work. So make sure you drop in, say hi, subscribe to Deether McBusiness, and I'll see you guys very soon.